Okay, we are going to go over some examples. It's nice to know like the background to all of this and know why the rules work, but we also need the examples, right? And I'll work them out by hand. So we have these rules here that we need to remember. So we have the product rule, the power rule, quotient rule, negative exponent rule, and zero exponent rule. The other thing we need to remember is our order of operations. Okay, parentheses come first, exponents come second, multiplication and division are interchangeable, just coming left to right, and same with addition and subtraction. Okay, one does not simply forget the order of operations. Okay, so let's do this one. So negative 6 to the fourth times negative 1/4 squared. So let's deal with this separately. So we have negative 6 to the fourth and we have negative 1/4 squared. Well, let's figure out what 6 to the fourth is. So I know 6 to the fourth is the same as 6 squared times 6 squared. And I know what 6 squared is. That's 36, and this is 36. So if I multiply 36 and 36, do it to the side, you get 6 times 6 is 6, 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20, 0, 6 times 3 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we get 1,280. And I'm just going to check on my calculator because sometimes I make mistakes and it's embarrassing. And I made a mistake. 18, 20, 30. Oh, this should be a 3. So this should have been a 21, so this is a 9. I should just restart this video so it looks like I didn't make a mistake. But I'm not going to. So that's why you check yourself. So negative 1,296. And then if we do 1/4 squared, so we have negative 1/4 times negative 1/4. Well, negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 4 is 16. So we have negative 1,296 times 1/16, which is the same as negative 1,900 or 296 divided by 16, which I'm going to use my calculator, and I get 81. Negative 81. Whoop, don't forget that negative. Negative 81. Okay, let's double check, because I also worked it out on here. So I just broke up the negative. 6 to the fourth is 1,296. Negative 1/4 squared is 1/16. Then I multiplied those together, got 81, so this was negative 81. Awesome. Okay, let's do this one. So here, I'm going to work inside these parentheses first. So 5 to the 0 power, that's the 0 exponent rule. So anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's going to be 1. And I'm going to leave the others for a second. Negative first, negative 2. Now we have this negative exponent rule. I'm going to change colors of this. So we have a negative exponent rule now. And we have this negative exponent here. We also have a negative exponent there. But we deal with our parentheses first. So I'm going to deal with this one first. Well, if this was saying if it starts up on top, it's going to flip to the bottom. But what if you start with something that looks like this? Well, that's just going to flip up top. So that actually just becomes x to the n. And that's what's going to happen here. So this is going to flip up and become positive. So I'm left with 3 to the first power and then to the negative second power. Neat. Okay. And then the last step, or one of the last steps, well, we have 3 to the first and then raised to the negative second. Well, that's the power rule. So it's a power to a power. So we're going to multiply them. So that's 3 to the first times negative 2, which is 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Which this looks like, again, it's this negative exponent rule. So this is going to be 1 over 3 squared, which 3 squared is 9. So the answer here is 1/9. Okay. Another tip, if you ever see something like this and it's asking you to simplify and there are no variables, just use your calculator. Okay. check on the calculator. Calc. Cool. Let's double check that we did it right. So 5 to the 0 power is 1. Flip that negative exponent up. Multiply the 2. Get 3 to the negative second, which is 1 over 3 squared, which is 1/9. Cool. Okay, let's look at this one. So again, let's just write on this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply it to this. So I'm going to multiply my like terms. Well, I have negative 3 times 8. Then I also have p to the negative second and p to the 6th. So very clearly here I can see that, okay, these two go together and these two go together. Well, negative 3 times 8. 8 times 8 is, 8, 16, 24. 8, 16, 24. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing powers. Yeah. 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 8 is 24. Now these ones, since they're being multiplied, we're going to add them. So that's going to be p to the negative 2 plus 6. Well, negative 2 plus 6 is 4, so we get negative 24 p to the 4th. Not too bad. Let's look and see if we did it right. So break it up, put like terms next to each other, get negative 24 p to the 4th. I even went through the same exact steps. Cool. Let's do another one. So this one kind of looks tricky because we have this fraction here, but it's not going to be too bad. So first, what is 57 divided by 3? I used my calculator. I cheated. Just kidding. Calculators are not cheating. You get 19. And then we have x to the 4th on top and x on bottom. So I'm just going to do the quotient rule here. We're going to do 4 minus 1. And then we have our y, so we have y negative 2 minus, I'm going to put another parentheses, negative 3. Okay, and this piece stayed the same. So this is still negative 11x cubed y. Okay, and then let's, go back to this. So 19, 4 minus 1 is easy, that's just 3. Now negative 2 minus a negative 3. I'm going to move it up here. So we have negative 2 minus a negative 3. Well, minus a negative becomes a positive, so that's negative 2 plus 3, which is 1. So that's just the same as y. And then this still is negative 11x cubed y. Now can you see that these are the same? X cubed y, we just have 19 of them here and negative 11 here, which means we're left with 8x cubed y. Cool. Let's double check it. So divide that. You get 19x cubed y minus 11x cubed y, which is 8x cubed y. Okay, this one. So we have 3/4 r squared, r to the negative second, s to the 5th, and then minus 4 r cubed s to the second. So I'm going to deal with this first. And I'm going to like distribute this exponent in. So that's negative 4 to the 2nd power. So negative 4 to the 2nd power is the same as negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16. So this is going to become 16 r cubed to the 2nd power. Let's just write it. R cubed to the 2nd power. And then s, there's no power there, so that's just going to be s squared. Remember, when we have a power raised to a power, you multiply those. So this is really 16r to the 6th s squared. Then I can bring the rest of this down. So 3/4 r to the negative 2nd, s to the 5th. And then let's put them next to each other. So here we have 3/4 of 16. Then we have r to the negative 2nd power and r to the 6th and s to the 5th and s squared. So 3/4 of 16, well 1/4 of 16 is 4 times 3, that would be 12. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4, so r to the 4th. 5 plus 2 is 7. Okay, let's double check. we click through this, r to the 4th, s to the 7th. Awesome. Okay, let's do this one. So we have negative 18 a to the 8th, b to the 4th, over 42 a to the 5th, b to the 7th. Well, first, we can just simplify this as if like we're reducing a fraction. So we want to see what number goes into 18 and 42. Well, 6 goes into both of them, and I knew that because they're both even. And then if you add 1 and 8, so 1 plus 8 equals 9, right? 9 is divisible by 3, so that means 18 is divisible by 3. And then 4 plus 2, so 42 equals 6. That's divisible by 3, so 42 is divisible by 3. And since they're both also even, these are also divisible by 2, which would make them 3 times 2 is 6, so they're also divisible by 6. Kind of cool. If you didn't follow, that's okay. So that means 6 goes into 18 3 times, so I'm just going to put a 3 there. 6 goes into 42 7 times. Okay. Now, we have 8 A's on top and 5 on bottom. So I can think of that as like A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Over 5 of them on the bottom. Well, those 5 are going to cancel those 5, so I'm left with 3 on top. So I'm going to have A cubed on top. And then I have 4 B's on top, 7 B's on bottom. Cancel, I'm left with 3 on the bottom. That one's pretty simple, right? Let's double check. So negative 3a cubed over b to the negative 3rd. Or b to the 3rd. Over 7b cubed. Whoa, sorry, struggling. Okay, let's do this one. So this is saying we're going to square whatever's in here. But I'm just going to simplify what's in here first and then square it. So 39 24ths. Let's see, what goes into both of those? I know 3 does, so let's just start with 3. 3 goes into 39 13 times. 3 goes into 24 8 times. Now we have 7 C's on top and 2 C's on bottom, which means I'm going to be left with 5 C's on the top. And then we have 4 D's on top and we have 5 on the bottom, which means I'm just going to be left with 1 in the bottom. And this whole thing is squared. This is a little bit easier to square than the one before, right? So 13 squared is 169, so 13 times 13 is 169. C to the 5th 2 times, well that's going to be C to the 10th. 8 squared is 64, and then D squared would just be D squared. Pretty simple. Let's see. So square it, blah, blah, blah. 169C to the 10th over 64D squared. Cool. Okay, this one looks a little tricky. Let's see what we can do to fix this. So there's nothing inside of these that is really going to simplify. So let's move these exponents in. And I'm just going to do the left side first, then I'll move to the right. So we have 1/2 cubed, then m to the negative 2nd to the 3rd, and then n cubed cubed. So 1/2 cubed, that's 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8, so that's 1/8. M to the negative 2nd to the 3rd, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6, so this is going to be m to the negative 6. 3 times 3 is 9, so that's n to the 9th. This right side, so we have 1/8 m to the negative 1st, n to the 4th. This is all to the negative 2nd. So again, I'm just going to move this in. So we have 1/8 to the negative 2nd power. Then we have m to the negative 1st to the negative 2nd power. And then we have n to the 4th to the negative 2nd power. Now 1/8 to the negative 2nd power. Well, remember our negative exponent rule where it flips it and changes it. So this is going to be the same as 8 to the second power. Okay, we flipped the inside and then made the exponent positive. Now, negative 1 times 2 is just 2. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So now we have these two. Okay, I'm going to run out of room. So here, this is the same as 64, so I'm just going to put 64 right here. Then if we multiply these, so 1/8 times 64, or 1/8 of 64, is 8. M to the negative 6 times m to the second. Well, negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4, so that's m to the negative 4th. Then 9 minus 8 is just 1, so this becomes, now we have our negative exponent, it's going to drop. That's going to be 8n over m to the 4th. Okay, sorry that got a little messy inside of there. Hopefully you could follow. So here we multiply it out, blah, 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 and you get 8n over m to the 4th. That's end. Okay. Hopefully you followed this. This was an optional video, so if you made it to the end, sweet, I hope you learned a lot. Okay.